So over the summer, I started experimenting with psychedelics, and let me tell you, everything has been pretty great ever since. I gotta be honest, I know it's like talked about a lot, but I truly never thought that such a wide range of psychedelics would be so common and easy to get, just like medical marijuana back in the medical marijuana days in Los Angeles. But it is like everywhere. You go to night markets, you can just pick it up. You go to conventions and it's just right there out in the open. These companies are making amazing products with amazing modern day packaging. I'm telling you, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between like a fancy chocolate bar you got in CVS and one of these mushroom chocolate bars. It's pretty amazing. And if you were to ask me as a 23-year-old or something,
like, hey, you want to try some shrooms?
I would have said no, because I honestly wrote them off that year when I had kind of a bad experience with some psychedelics, but that was a long time ago. Today, these products are so much better refined and so much better cultivated, and they're just a hell of a lot stronger, so you don't have to take nearly as much. And for the record, for the people who are watching who are really into mental health, taking a gram of shroom chocolate and accidentally having a really long trip a couple months ago absolutely defragmented my whole brain, and it took away so many of the problems that I thought I had that I was manifesting in my head for so long. Needless to say, accidentally tripping was one of the best ideas I've ever had. Taking a step outside of your mind and looking at things from more perspectives is always a good thing. You know, many years ago, I moved to Seattle, and it took a lot out of me. In a lot of ways, I felt like I was extremely absent from myself. And it wasn't until the last month and a half or so that I have felt truly back to myself. And I couldn't really put my finger on that until about a month ago, up until last night. These things really helped me, and I feel blessed that I have them, and I live in LA, where there's such a really nice scene with up-and-coming products and all that fun stuff. It's really, really great. I do want to point out one amazing product. This is Golden Door chocolate. This was sent to me by the company themselves. I told them I wanted to make a couple videos. We've also been having a Magic Mushroom Media Share stream on my Twitch stream, which you should totally check out. We basically take some segments of this, we allow my chat to send in free YouTube videos for us to react to, we groove and chill out to music, and then we watch Amazon Prime parties. It is an amazing sleepover if you've got nothing to do when we do it. For more info on that, check down below and click on the links in the description to my Discord. That is where our community is, and that is my schedule to everything, my live stream schedule, some amazing, awesome people that I trust with my life, and we have a lot of fun there. I will say, if you are interested in getting some of these Golden Door amazing chocolates, I would highly suggest staying away from looking for the company yourself. That is a really good way to get scammed out of a whole bunch of money, and you don't want to do that. Instead, there's a lovely Telegram link down below with plenty of info about the company. They sent me the Friend of the Devil, which is spicy chocolate. They also sent me Stella Blue, which is an amazing peppermint chocolate. I gotta say that this is probably some of the best chocolate, regardless of what kind of chocolate it is, that I've ever had in my life. Absolutely amazing. It just tastes so goddamn good. I can't get over how good this stuff tastes. The whole process has been really inspiring, and I think going into 2024, I might make my own chocolate or candy company. I am just obsessed with candy, and I love nostalgia, and I really want to bridge the gap between old school snacks, old school fun snacks from the 90s, and my love for this stuff. Anyway, thank you Golden Door for making this whole experience amazing. This is the cleanest, most amazing, awesome chocolate that I've ever had, and you should check it out. So the problem, though, that I find with this kind of product is that it really leads to only one thing, and that one thing is me watching a lot of movies. But I love movies, so, you know, that's okay. And I thought to myself, well, I really want an experience. I love watching The Yellow Submarine. I love watching Beau is Afraid, all while taking these chocolates, these magic mushroom chocolates. But I gotta admit, I've watched them so many times, I don't want to wear them out. I don't want to have these movies get boring. It's time to venture on and see what other movies are out there that I like watching while eating these chocolates. One would think that that's a pretty easy thing to come up with, a single movie to watch while taking shrooms. But it's not. I looked up a whole bunch of top 10 lists. I went to top 10 movies to watch while eating shrooms, top 100 movies to watch while taking shrooms, and a lot of the movies that I saw were actually pretty interesting. I did pick up a couple. All of them had really good movies on the list, but one movie was on all of these lists, and that is, lo and behold, Disney's Alice in Wonderland from 1952. Now, unfortunately, if you're anything like me, that's the obvious choice. So I was looking for something else except that, because that's just the obvious choice. There's gotta be something more interesting, more unique, more underground. But then I thought to myself, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. So I popped that bitch on, and lo and behold, I was greeted with the most amazing, wonderful thing that we don't really get a whole lot of anymore. Angelic 1950s Disney music. Oh my God. There is nothing like old school Disney music just flooding your eardrums with amazing vocals. It instantly put me into an amazing euphoric mood, and I thought, this is the happy, weird movie I was looking for. So the movie starts, and Alice is out in a field of daisies and flowers and stuff with her mom, who is kind of a major bitch. I remember being a kid in the 90s. By the way, if y'all say that you're a 90s kid, I was born in the mid 80s. I grew up in the 90s. I'm a 90s kid. I had parents in the 90s who were so unbelievably and unreasonably strict. They didn't like anything cool. They didn't care to really show me any of their great interests. Nowadays, parents are like, oh, I like Avengers. We got to give the kid all the Avengers. Oh, I like Nintendo. We got to make sure this kid knows about Nintendo and old movies and all this stuff that we had growing up. No, my parents, they were boring and they sucked. So Alice's mom is kind of a bitch, and she's homeschooling her out in this field and teaching her how to be proper and how to be a lady. Like, did you like your kids? Did parents even like their kids back in the 50s? So Alice starts singing a song, foreshadows the whole movie with all the crazy shit that I'm about to see, and we start the movie. So Alice sees the very famous White Rabbit character singing his song, and she chases him down a rabbit hole, and the adventure and the story starts. You probably recognize this from The Matrix. So if you've never seen this movie, this is what it's from. To be 100% honest with you, I really always wanted an American McGee's Alice movie, but I feel like the Tim Burton Alice movies that Disney put out years and years later, that's like the closest we're gonna get.
One good turn deserves another. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm looking for a white rabbit, so, if you don't mind...
Eh? Oh!
There he is! I simply must get through!
Sorry, you're much too big.
Pretty sure that the movie creators got this scene right out of Kingdom Hearts or something, because I definitely remember this from that. But this is definitely the part of the movie where you just start kind of noticing some stuff. Like, you notice the flaws in Alice's face. You notice that when she cries in this scene, she is a lot to deal with. Guys, I think we can relate to that doorknob sometimes. At least one point in our life, maybe. I mean, she's a lot to deal with right there, like a lot. Like, God, like somebody get your girl. By the way, you know what all that water reminds me of? It reminds me of G Fuel! I do get a lot of questions on which is my favorite flavor, and if you like sweet things, it is Amy's Strawberry Shortcake. So why don't you act like Amy and go chase after Sonic, but Sonic is G Fuel, and use my code to get G Fuel. And use code DUDY so I can get paid. So now that I'm fully hydrated and alert with my delicious G Fuel, let's continue. You know, growing up, I always forgot about this Dodo part. He's like just a really annoying guy.
That's better. Have you tried a new no time now.
So Alice is like deep in Wonderland at this point, and she crosses Tweedledee and Tweedledum's path. And I gotta be honest again, I remember being really more impressed by these guys as a kid. I remember they were the funny characters when I was a kid. They would be the Maui or the Mushu. It was these guys, not even Cheshire Cat. Cheshire Cat was just like a weird, creepy guide. But these guys were the humor points in the movie. But I was watching this movie the other day when I had these chocolates, and I gotta be honest, they were just like really boring, and they were just like a bunch of little piss boys. It was really weird. I guess it was considered rebellious or like brash to say humorous poetry back in the 50s, because all these guys were doing to impress Alice was giving them examples of prose. And I remember liking it when I was a kid, but I just found it weird as hell. And honestly, this was the weirdest part in the movie, in my opinion, as a grown-up on drugs. So they sit Alice down and they convince her to let them tell her this tale about a walrus and a carpenter. And I always forgot about this scene that was in the movie, because honestly, it's like super fucked up. And to say that Disney like would never allow this stuff in their movies nowadays, I don't know. I don't even know if that's a true statement, but this is one of those scenes where literally I don't think they've ever done in the longest time. So anyway. He's literally luring this woman's children in front of her out to his restaurant because he's hungry and he wants to eat oysters, and it's super fucked up.
Little oysters, but answer there came none. And this was scarcely on because they'd been eaten. Everyone.
He ate every last child. He lured them in front of the parents. He ate every last child. They died. So sad. All those oyster babies, they were so cute. But then the next scene was the most unhinged fucking comedy scene I've ever seen in a movie to begin with. So White Rabbit sees Alice and straight up just calls her Marianne, grabs her and throws her in his home and says, "Bitch, do shit." So she's in White Rabbit's house and she decides the first thing she's gonna do is snoop around. To be fair, she's looking for gloves, I guess, but she opens a lid, sees White Rabbit's literal drugs, picks one up, and is like, yeah, sure, that's for me. I will take one of those. White Rabbit runs out and gets the dodo from before and decides that the best point of action is to burn down the house.
But I have a very simple solution.
And then the next scene was the flower garden scene, which I remember being kind of boring as a kid. There were scenes in movies and kids where I would just tune out, and this was one of them.
Talk? But of course we can talk, my dear. If there's anyone worth talking to. Or about.
But I will say that there is nothing that gives me rage like these Karen flowers. Now, there's a thing about boring movie scenes when you are taking magic mushrooms or magic chocolate or magic edibles or anything like that, that all the boring scenes in the movie, they get 1,000% way less boring. This flower scene, because of the music and because of the colors, was incredible. It was actually enjoyable to watch. Even that Karen-ass flower did not ruin my night or my experience. It was just all very held together. And honestly, it might be the best song that's in the whole movie. This caterpillar is straight autistic. I remember growing up and just thinking he was whatever. I didn't really look too much into this scene, but looking at this scene as an adult, he is just fully put off by this girl who is in his space, is not asking the questions the right way, so he's getting super irritated, and all he's doing is playing with smoke and the way that his mouth shapes the vowels out. He is super stimming and being satisfied by smoke and his voice. He's autistic.
A mushroom, of course!
See? Autism rage.
Better save these.
That is my girl. Save those for later. I mean, what are you gonna do in a couple days when you're bored, want to watch another movie, She runs into the Cheshire Cat, who is kind of cryptid, but mostly just kind of annoying. Now, the Mad Hatter scene in this movie was breathtaking. There was colors, there was the sounds. I hear that song at Disneyland, so I was thinking of Disneyland. And also a lot of textures. They use a lot of food textures in this scene, like jelly and butter and pouring tea on stuff, and it's all just really fun to look at. So at this point, Alice is just feeling overall lost, and she's going through a series of just very trippy, unnamed character NPCs, basically, and is getting kind of fed up. Either way, she just becomes fully burnt out by the Mad Hatter and all of his shit and just says no more nonsense, like a hangover, like a sitting in the shower in the morning for an hour moment with all the wackiness going on. And it's just like, wow, she is going through some humongous transformations in this movie, though. There is a lot of subtext here. And I really liked this part because it was just a lot of words, some cheap gags, really bright colors. Those mome rats scared the fuck out of me. They're so creepy. I could imagine them like just walking all over you and like biting you and stuff. Oh my God, my mind goes to very fucked up places sometimes. It's at this point in the movie when she comes to the realization and she starts singing a song. And it's at this point when I realize, oh, this is why Disney now picks pop music and pop music writers and the guy from Hamilton to write all of their music, because this song is just ugly as hell. It's so disgusting. Like, yeah, they're conveying a very pivotal part of the story where Alice is realizing stuff and she's sad and lost and everything, but she's ugly crying during the song, and it's not really adding to the emotion. All you hear is her crying so much that she can't sing the song, and it's like, wow, now we know what they had. Now we know. Now we know why. So then we move on and we finally get to the Queen of Hearts' castle, and this is where the movie really took a big turn. So Alice gets to the castle and the guards are painting the roses red to make everything appear perfect for the queen. The queen comes out, everybody makes a huge deal out of it, and the queen starts threatening everybody that just crosses her path. It's unhinged. This queen reminds me of all of the pick-me bitches on Twitter, and then even the king, the white rabbit, all the guards, they're all the Twitter followers. This scene blew my fucking mind. There's word puzzles, there's puns everywhere in these scenes. It's a lot like Deltarune. So they even take Alice to court at the very end. The queen wants to cut her head off, I guess, for being good at croquet. And at this point, even Alice is so fed up with the nonsense, she's just rolling her eyes at what every single person says. Everybody accuses her of stuff a la Chrono Trigger, and it's just fully unhinged. But it's very funny, and it's extremely well balanced and extremely enjoyable. It's the perfect amount of chaos that one needs, or at least that I need in a movie when I'm taking magic chocolates. But yeah, by this time, Alice has had enough. She wants a cookie, she wants her joint, and she wants to go to bed. Anyway, she escapes. Her mom says, hey bitch, wake up, we gotta leave. I let you sleep for an hour and 15 minutes. And it's over. Holy hell, if you have not watched this movie in a long time and you are thinking about experimenting with some psychedelics, definitely take a little bit and watch this movie. It was fully enjoyable and I loved it. I want to give a big thanks to Golden Door. Thank you very much for supplying these amazing chocolates for me. I really appreciate you. And for everybody else, definitely subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up if you want to see more things like this. And if you want me to watch a movie that you think I would like, let me know down in the comments. I'll even let you know if I've seen it already. I have a couple more movie reviews that I'm gonna start rolling out soon. But yeah, subscribe, follow me on Twitch. Please, that supports me the most. Consider subscribing. If you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free. And I love you a lot, so see you soon.